Music, radio, podcasts.
To be in one of the greatest TV shows ever would be good enough. But to be in at least 4. He's in Narcos, Game of Thrones, one of the best Jeffs on screen ever. In our latest obsession, The Last of Us, which we are loving. It's incredible. Well, he's back today as the Mandalorian for Series 3 on Disney+. What a pleasure to say, Pedro Pascal. Welcome to The Breakfast Show.
Oh, what a pleasure to be on The Breakfast Show.
Hello,
Zoe.
my darling.
Hello.
Friends of mine were suggesting that I should call you Daddy because everybody calls you Daddy now. How's that working out for you at the moment?
It's working out just fine. If I'm not going to have kids and get called Daddy, I guess that I might as well take it, right?
I think you wear it well. I have to say, you are also wearing the most gorgeous sort of sparkly kind of, it's almost like a modern-day chainmail.
It's my Star Wars Galaxy tribute, maybe?
Oh, I love it. It is absolutely beautiful. We've been so excited about you coming in, like the whole crew. There are people here who've never been in the building before. They were like, Pedro's here, we're coming in. How do you say Pedro? Is it like that?
Pedro.
Oh, yes.
Pedro.
Okay. I'm so
Pedro.
English. I go, Pedro. All right.
I don't mind it at all.
Good.
I sometimes introduce myself in different ways. It comes out. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm like Pedro. Pedro, all of them.
Okay, that's
Pedro.
good. See, if you run into him in the street,
Peds.
he will accept
Peds.
all of those.
Somebody calls me Pepsi.
Pepsi. Mm-hmm. Do we need to know more about why, or it's just?
She's a producing friend of mine.
Yeah.
Somebody I've worked with, and we've become close pals. And
Brilliant.
whenever, she calls me Pepsi.
I love that.
And I really love it too.
I know. I want to know who Shirley is. Right. Okay. So much to talk about. Did you have fun on SNL, Saturday Night Live? Oh my goodness me! What a lark.
I had the time of my life. I couldn't believe it. I really was scared. I'm not the kind of person that looks for challenges, to be honest with you. Jobs will come with challenges, different locations, physical things, mountains, fights, getting your head crushed in, stuff like that. But that's
Yeah.
the assignment. I'm not really like going on a silent retreat or or trying to discover anything new about myself.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And so I think that the stage fright of something like that and broad comedy and putting yourself out there was something that just this kind of wall of terror that everyone there, the cast, the crew, Lorne Michaels, all the producers, writers, they just kind of, break that wall down for you bit by bit throughout the week. And it just was one of the most magical experiences I've ever had. And so instead of having to kind of go and take ayahuasca with a bunch of strangers in I don't know,
Which you could
in the
still do
jungle,
one
which I
day.
could still do. It was good to kind of have epiphanal experiences on Saturday Night Live.
It's that thing, isn't it? It's seeing an actor out of the place where you feel safe, I guess. And we had your dear friend Oscar Isaac on the show,
Yeah.
and he'd done it.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. He's like,
Yeah.
it's not what we do. But
Right.
they look after you. It was
Yeah.
brilliant. Coldplay were there. I'm hoping Chris Martin was telling you how he binged the whole of Narcos in a day and loves you.
He was the best.
Isn't he? He has great energy, doesn't
He has great
Chris?
energy, tall, beautiful, always has been. Let's kill him.
Yeah.
He's had his run.
He said, do you know, I went to a Coldplay gig many moons ago,
Yeah.
and my friend said to me, he's singing every lyric to you. He's singing up to you, so on the balcony. And I was like, and I convinced myself that, of course he was. Too along for me. Gwyneth Paltrow. Definitely not for me. So good. So tell us about, so you born in Chile, and then you came to America, and your dad used to take you to the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where it all began? What kind of movies were you seeing with Dad?
It's all the movies he wanted to see.
Okay, that's what parents do.
I would say both my parents worked, so I was raised by, I think, HBO television and Steven Spielberg. Those were sort of my babysitters. And he is a doctor, but loved going to the movies. We would sometimes go 3 times a week, and whatever he wanted to see, we would go. We really, as far as the 80s were concerned, saw everything. And then if we missed it in the cinema, we caught it on cable television repeatedly. It was my education,
Yeah,
my development.
absolutely.
I would say that kind of a deluded fantasy of wanting to be one of the kids in Poltergeist or E.T. was the dream.
Yeah.
And then eventually we moved to California, and There were options for it to become an extracurricular activity, kind of move out of the competitive swimming hobby into, drama classes, and then a performing arts program in high school. And as far as my parents were concerned, whatever keeps you out of the house trying to watch TV from morning until night,
yeah.
we don't care what it is, just get that.
Yeah.
And so then, something that was a fantasy became a hobby, became training, and became work. And then at a certain point, you don't have any other skills.
I think you have quite a lot of
So you're
skills.
trapped.
I don't think you should do yourself a disservice.
What are my skills?
Your skills are being phenomenal on screen
okay.
in whatever role.
Thanks.
You have the skill of dying very well
That's true.
on big screens as well.
Right,
And
yes.
you have
I am
so
a good
many skills.
dyer. I do love.
You are. I mean,
love
come
to
on.
die.
You do love to die. Not yet, please, when it comes to The Mandalorian, which we will discuss. Apparently, obviously, you loved Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Did you hurt yourself?
I
Trying
did.
to be him or
I
something?
did.
No.
I broke my poor left arm 3 times. And they were all Indiana Jones related, actually. I'd seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, so I tied sheets together. I was trying to scale the side of my house.
No way.
Yeah, and they loosened very quickly, landed on my elbow, shattered in 3 places. And then I think I must have been, 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I did again, riding on a horse in Chile. Growing up in the States, we were still able to go back to Chile at a certain point when my parents were on a list of pardoned exiles. And so anyway, I got thrown from a horse. My dad, being a doctor, was like, you're fine. Not in that accent. Suddenly he's like, you're fine. Get out of here, you kid.
He's from the Bronx.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All of a sudden, and you kind of wrapped it with a cardboard box and paper. And then after the 3rd day of me not sleeping, my mom was like, I'm going to take him to the emergency room. And the doctor says, it's broken.
Okay. You're like, thanks, Dad. He is the doctor in the family.
Right. Your head has to be missing from your.
See, so
from
you
your
were
torso.
doing the stunts very young age.
Yes,
I have to
yes.
say that's quite an incredible image of a 5-year-old you
Or
climbing
dumb.
out of a window. But you've got to do that. And when you're a kid, you generally bounce back from all of that stuff.
I haven't broken a bone. Knock on wood, I haven't broken a bone since I was 18 years old. And I don't plan to.
Yeah, please don't. We don't need a Daniel Craig situation when he did Bond. You had a terrible time, didn't he? Kept doing all sorts. Yes, stay safe. Keep bouncing. It's good.
Thank you.
Talking of Indiana Jones, though, of course, Harrison Ford, a
Icon.
beloved member of the Star Wars family, as are you with The Mandalorian. We're all obsessed. Do you remember when you got the call to offer you the job?
I remember that the call was very mysterious, and basically it was presented, Jon Favreau would like to meet with you about something Star Wars, was exactly as it was phrased. And you just say, okay. I meet them in their writer's room where wall-to-wall story illustrations are decorating, every inch of the walls of this room. And it's the entire first season of this Star Wars world. I didn't even know what it would be called, but I see this Boba Fett-like character silhouette, this Yoda-like, child. And I just was completely, it was like stepping into your childhood imagination, and felt fascinated. I wasn't even bold enough to really ask what they wanted to talk to me about. I was thinking, could this be, am I going to be voicing that creature or this android? What is it? And they were confused and said, you're the Mandalorian. I remember leaving and being like, calling my agent, I'm like, I think that they want me to be Boba Fett. And they're like, it's not Boba Fett. I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever it is, he's really cool.
So brilliant. It's so good. Oh, my goodness me. I went deep into the Wikipedia last night, and I realised that every question I was asking has been asked a million times before, because people are obsessed. Can he become a Jedi? How do Mandalorians kiss? How do they have a shower? The answers are there. People go deep on this stuff. It's incredible. So,
secretly, I have the answer to some of them.
yeah. Are you allowed to even tell me any of those things?
I would have to say